Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. How are you guys doing today? If you are new around here, my name is Ron, and today I'm going to be repotting my Rhaphidophora tetrasperma. I have two pots of this plant, but I'm going to be combining both plants into one pot in order to make it fuller. But one of them, I actually got both of them about 6 months ago, but one of them, you can barely see it. It's getting really tall, so I might actually chop it in half as well, because the second pot that I have is nowhere near as high as that one. So I'm gonna probably make one, possibly two cuttings in order for them to kind of be a little bit more compact so that they'll grow more evenly. But yeah, let me show you what they look like. This is the smaller one right here. And I got this one from Home Depot. I got it for $10. Back then it was a smaller plant. It had maybe 4 or 5 leaves. And I picked this one up because for $10, it had 2 plants in the pot. So I thought it was a really good deal, but look at how many leaves there are already, right? It is kind of not throwing out the fenestrations. For example, this one right here has 0 fenestrations, which came after this leaf right here, which has 3 fenestrations. So that leads me to believe that it might actually need to be repotted anyway. So this is the smaller one. And let me show you the taller one. Here it is. Obviously it's not gonna fit into the frame, but I love this one because it grows so fast. Anytime I'm walking into this room, because of where I put this on top of the shelf, I just see like the silhouettes of each leaf and all of the splits. And it looks so cool, like instant jungle vibes. There is a stake that ends right here, and there's like, what is that, almost 2 feet more of plants sticking up from that stake. So I will have to cut it somewhere in between. And like I said, I might take 2 cuttings. I think I might do something different this time. I'm gonna take the cuttings, but instead of propagating them into water, I'm gonna try to just put them into the pot to root with some rooting powder to hopefully help. But yeah, I think I'm gonna do that today. So let's get started. Okay, welcome to the closer look. First things first, we're gonna remove this one from the pot. This one is in a 4-inch pot. Actually, they're both in a 4-inch pot. So I don't know how the bigger one is actually able to put out that much growth from just a 4-inch pot. So I'm kind of nervous to see how much roots is actually in that one. But first is this one. Let's see what the roots look like. Okay. It doesn't look root bound at all. Look at the foliage, so beautiful, right? So I'm gonna try to remove as much soil as I can without disturbing the roots too much. Okay, so I think that's pretty good. I did water this about 3 days ago, so it's got enough to drink, and hopefully it doesn't go through any kind of transplant shock. But I am going to be adding Dr. Q's plant tonic, as I always do in all of my transplants. And if you don't have that, then you can use Super Thrive. It does the same thing. And I think it just really helps the plant to re-establish itself into a new pot. So yeah, this is the first one. Here's a closer look at all of the roots. Nice white and fuzzy, especially this one right here. So I believe it is a healthy root system. Let's just set this one off to the side and move on to the bigger bebe. So, okay, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna make 2 cuts here. And if I were to guess, it's about 3.5 feet long. So if I make 2 cuts, it's gonna give me 3 separate plants. So probably gonna make each one a little over 1 foot in length. This one, I'm gonna cut right here. Let's grab our sterilized shears right here. And I'm gonna make 2 smaller cuts here because I'm gonna remove the internodal stem here because that's not gonna be needed. And for aesthetic purposes, you're gonna wanna trim as close to, whoa, she fell, as close to each node as you can. So I'm gonna discard this piece right here. But I'm also gonna have to discard the lowest leaf here because this aerial node or aerial root is gonna have to sit inside of the soil. And if I were to leave this leaf in place, this is gonna be buried in the soil too, which means it could lead to rot. So hopefully it just breaks off easily. Nope. Let's just take a moment to appreciate this leaf. Thank you for your service. Okay, so this is gonna be sitting in soil and hopefully the roots will take off from this node right here. All right, next cutting, hopefully you can see. This cutting is gonna have 6 leaves, which I'm gonna remove the bottommost leaf in order to have the same amount of leaves as the other one. So I'm gonna take a cutting right here. Boom. Oh, she fell again. And then, of course, remove the extra stem right here. And then we're gonna say bye-bye to this leaf right here. So thank you for your service. Okay, so this is what this aerial root node looks like. I'm sure it'll have no problem rooting, especially with the rooting powder I'm about to dip it into. But this is the remaining of this mother plant. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 leaves. So let's remove it from the pot. Oh yeah, this one actually has roots starting to poke out from the bottom here. So I know this one is actually due for a repot, just because of that. Oh yeah, look at that. Beautiful, white, fleshy, fuzzy roots. Let's remove some of the soil. I think that's pretty good. Look at all those roots, guys. Nice. Okay, now let's take a look at all of our plants. We've got 3 plants right here, all from the same plant. And then this one right here, which has, I don't know if it actually starts off as one vine and then splits into 2, or if there are actually 2 independent root systems in there. I don't know, I can't tell. What do you think? You see that? It might actually have split into 2, but I'm not about to like tear them apart because they're twins. Okay, so now let me show you the pot that I'm going to be using. So this one's pretty cute because it's 2-toned and it has nice wooden legs here. I think it's about a 6-inch pot. My Monstera adansonii was previously in this pot and I think it really liked it. So hopefully we get the same blessing with this Rhaphidophora Tetrasperma. Hopefully it likes this pot. It is glazed on the outside, but it is clay and it's unglazed after this line right here. So hopefully it does a good job with wicking away moisture. because we don't want the plant to have wet feet for too long. So this is the pot. Now let me go ahead and mix up the soil. Okay, so this is the mix that I'm going to be using. It's not really anything special. Look at that huge piece of bark right there. I've got some potting soil, coco coir, charcoal, extra perlite, and the orchid bark. So hopefully this creates a really chunky mix and that I don't have to make another batch of this. I'm gonna add more perlite actually. Okay, I think that looks good. This is kind of the ratio I want my mix to look like. The ratio mainly being the perlite to soil. Now there is a sizable hole in there which I want to plug with something, partially with this piece of orchid bark. So hopefully that keeps soil from leaking out every time I water the plant, just like that. Now let's put down the layer. Now, let's grab both plants with the roots just to see where the soil level is going to be sitting. I think I'm eventually going to want to add a moss pole in the center of the pot. So I'm going to try to orient the plants so that they'll easily attach to that to kind of create a 360 look. Okay, now we can backfill. Turn her around. Okay, give it a tappy tap. Okay, so this one here, this is the bottom of the bigger plant. It's kind of doing this whoop-de-whoop, as you can see. So I'm gonna add this wooden stake that was originally from my pot of orchids, and I'm gonna attach it to this to help it stabilize. And I'm assuming the two remaining cuttings are gonna need the support as well. So let's just quickly attach this one. And then here are the two cuttings, which I'm gonna dip into the rooting powder right here. And this is the brand that I'll be using today. It's by Bonide. And if you're wondering what it looks like, it's just this white powder. It looks like flour. Doesn't really have a smell, but all we're gonna do is just dip this guy in here, give it a good tap, and that's all you need, really. And do the same thing with this one. Now let's find a spot, put these guys in. This is gonna look really, really lush, guys. Can't wait. So now I'm just using my finger to make a hole, trying to make it halfway into the soil so the soil itself can help stabilize it. Okay, now to help this one stand up, I'm gonna add another one of these stakes. Okay, it's not done yet. Where am I gonna place this one? Because this one is actually the top cutting. And I like that it's actually going to sit higher than the rest of the plants in here so that you don't see as much of the exposed wounds here. So, oh, it's going to look really good. Now, where do I put it? Okay, maybe right here. And I think this one is going to also attach to that first stake. Ta-da! Wow! She looks really full. This is the final product. What do you guys think? I think it looks so good, actually. So bushy. It no longer looks leggy like the way it was originally climbing up to the ceiling. I think I'm satisfied. Now let's just water her real quick and then put her in her final location. Okay, so like I mentioned earlier, I'm going to be using this Dr. Q's Plant Tonic, which prevents transplant shock and encourages new growth. So I'm going to be adding it to the water here, just a few drops. And that's all you need. And if you don't have this, you can use Super Thrive. It's going to do the same thing. But let's just give this a swirl. And I need a tray because I want to make sure everything is thoroughly saturated, especially for those two cuttings with the rooting powder. Perfect. Okay, so hopefully the two cuttings in here with the rooting powder really sink their feet, or form their feet actually, into the soil. And this is my first time actually propagating cuttings directly into soil. I mean, I've done it to smaller plants before with some success, but not to this scale. So I really hope they take off because, as you can see, this is going to turn into a really lush, bushy plant of Rhaphidophora Tetrasperma. So yeah, now let's put her into her final location and hope for the best. She looks so good already. Well, that is it for today's video, guys. Let me know if you guys enjoyed the video by hitting the thumbs up. And if you haven't yet already, plant subscribe for updates. Hopefully in the future, we'll see 5 of these guys climbing their way up towards the ceiling this time. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.